And just then, one of the dead gets its fingers in her hair and starts pulling, so I run and jump, and I can't believe it. I nail that nasty thing in the face, and it goes sprawling. The mom loses her grip, but she finds it again. Soon we're back down on the ground, and she's crying and shaking, and she's letting me take that screaming little bag and put it on. And I tell her, go on, I've got it.
Hello, imaginary friends. If, like me, you've been asking, can Christmas survive an undead apocalypse? Please keep listening. And thank you.
Hey, my name's Chris. Did it work?
You gotta push on that thing, I think.
Oh, okay, it worked, awesome. I wanted to write a book, just in case I don't make it one of these times. But then Dad and I found this recorder thing. We already had the insides for it, and it works. So, I live on the farm with my dad. Mom is gone. She's with the others now. My baby sister went too, but Dad says she isn't with the others, but he won't tell me how he knows that. I think this is about my 12th winter, and I'm starting to think I'm lucky. I've made it pretty long, and the heavy rains have started up already. Feels like summer just got done, but I'm okay with it. The others can't hear us so good when it's raining, so. We're down to eating apples now, soft ones, and they don't taste so good, but they won't make us sick. Then we've got potatoes, then we gotta eat the scrounge until the other things grow back. Dad says he didn't used to be hungry all the time, but I don't know. I think he just thinks that. I had candy a few times. If you never get the chance, I am super sorry for you, because it's like 100 apples in your mouth, all together. If I ever find some again, I'm gonna keep it for a really special day, and I'll give Dad a piece, and so we share with each other. But if we ever see any people, like even good people, we don't share. We trade. Everything is a trade. Dad says it all the time.
That's right.
The world is made out of trades.
Yes, it is.
When you eat, you clean the food and plant the seeds and get them growing. When you eat something today, you don't get it tomorrow. That's a trade. And when you die, there's no seed. Part of you is food, and the rest of you is with the others. That doesn't seem fair to me, but Dad says it is. You get to live first, don't you? He said. He says I was the best trade he ever made. Because when Dad was young, they traded for the books I read and gave him 2 of our bikes. We have a lot of bikes we take care of. And another time, the biggest deal was that Dad used to have a sister, but they met some good people and they traded her for another girl, and that was Mom. He said it was sad, like all the other trades, but it was a good way to keep things going. I don't know. When I ask him why I was such a good trade, he says I was free. Because nobody took a thing, but Dad and Mom got to have me anyway. It doesn't feel like free to me. Because I know when my sister was born, Mom had her on top of a building in town on purpose. Because it's super noisy, and the others come. So we planned on not coming back to the farm until the baby was old enough to not make noise all the time. And moving around, it's not free. The others go with you. It is not free. So anyway, they did that all the time with me when I came out, so I know I wasn't free. But Dad still says it. Okay, Dad says we gotta go scrounging. We're not out of growing food, but it's gonna rain for a whole day, he thinks, so it's a good time to go. If I don't come back, my name was Chris, and I hope you do better. I hope you come back every time, and you get to be a mom or dad, and I hope you take good care of our stuff, and that you find a lot of candy. Bye. We're back. Both of us. And we found something. Okay, we found a bunch of things, because we went to a place we've never been before. But this was a big deal. So, scrounge was getting scarce in town, and we picked apart all the other farms, like a long time ago. So Dad said, it was time. And I said, time for what? And he said, we're going to another town. I didn't even know there were other towns. Maybe you've seen 100? I haven't. Never needed to, I guess. Maybe that's lucky. So, we ate an apple, we strapped on our pads and helmets and grabbed our bats. We got on our bikes, and man, did we ride. Felt like all day, but Dad laughed when I said that. And this town was a lot like the town, but things were set up different, and there were some higher buildings than I'd ever seen. One of them was super tall, like 4 or 5 houses, stacked on top of each other. And it was missing part of it on the side, and there were 4 or 5 of the others moving around at the bottom, and there were more of them higher up. When we rode past, one of them comes flapping down and lay there like a dumb smashed apple. I'm glad they're dumb. I wish they weren't anything. I know I shouldn't say it, because they used to be us. I guess if Mom was still out there somewhere. Well, anyway, that wasn't the big deal. Down the street a little bit, we found a store, and it used to have other stores on top of it, but they crashed down inside it. And far back under the crashed-in part, we could hear some of the others. Maybe they heard our bikes, even with the rain, I don't know. But it didn't sound like too many. So we decided to get down inside. It could have been a horrible trade, but it was not. So we climbed up on the crashed-in part and found a good gap underneath us where we could look down in. So we sat up there and we watched them for a while, got our eyes used to the dark inside, until we could see what was in the place. It was long, it was big, it was open. Part of it had at least some scrounge in it. But some of it up on shelves, but a lot of it on the floor. We couldn't see how much. But we figured there was more, like deeper in the dark, where the rain and such doesn't get in. So we had to use one of our flashlights. If you don't know, flashlights make a small light where you point them. You have to change the insides out a few times a year, less if you're careful. So, we switched one on, and they walked right into it. Their melted, ugly faces came right into the light, and they were reaching up for it. And then Dad had the idea to use the light to distract them, but we weren't about to jump down there. And jumping in like that, that's how you join them, but I guess if you're listening, you haven't done that. Anyway, that's when I saw it. There was a stairs on one side that used to lead to the higher up stores, and now they just had some pieces of junk on them blocking the way. If we could leave the others up there, maybe one of us could sneak down and get out with some scrounge. Dad insisted. I'm used to it. I hate it, though. I don't want to be alone. I'd rather be the one to go if someone goes first. So I stayed there with my pack and my light, and I got my rope out. I stuck the hook around a metal bar. It took us time, but we made some pretty heavy hooks, so we could throw our ropes and get them stuck on things. So then I kept distracting him while Dad worked his way up the junk to the top part of the stairs. The steps were kind of half over on their side, and others are not so good at climbing, but you probably know that. But it looked like they could do it. I think they could hear him, but they were more interested in me and my light. Dad took out a few big chunks of rock and put them in a pile, something he could push over if he needed to. And Dad was finished pretty soon and knew what he was going to do. He flicked his fingers at me, and I left the hole and disappeared for a minute and watched them start crowding over toward Dad. He said some things to them, I don't know what, because it started raining louder, but it was working. They started making their way up the stairs, hands and feet. I came back, quiet as the ground. Didn't see any of them down in the hole. Clicked on my light again. Nothing. So, finally, I looked across to see Dad was safe as he could be, and I slid down the rope. It was amazing. I've never seen scrounge like this. I didn't know what half these things were, but I knew you could eat them if they weren't gone bad. So I went along the row between the shelves, and I got the best things from each spot. Checked the metal and plastic and all to make sure it wasn't split or bulging. And it wasn't long before I had to start swapping things out, because I didn't have enough room. Everything's a trade. So my bag and my pockets were as full, and I would have headed back, but at the end of the row, one of the others was stuck under something and started growling like he'd been waiting all this time for me. I checked around, and I didn't see any more of him, but when I swung my light, it hit something shiny, something beautiful. There was a tree, right there in the middle of this old store, growing fresh as grass. There was a bunch of white stuff draped on it, and some shiny gold string all over it, and these golden balls hanging everywhere. And when I shined my light around it, there were other things, so many things I could not tell you what they were, but altogether they were like that moment when you wake up and you know you're still you, and your dad is right there watching you, and he's still him, and there's an apple waiting by your bed. But like that feeling is all stacked up in so many bags and boxes around a big beautiful tree saying you're safe. You're safe. And some of those bags and boxes got candy in them. I knew better than to stare for too long. I found this long red hat. There were a bunch of them too. And it felt like it would hold for a minute, so I grabbed the best looking candy while the other under the junk was stretching his old nasty arm and snapping his jaw. I filled the hat with the candy and clicked off my light and started careful as I could back to the hole in the roof. So slow, but so worried, I could hear the snarling up ahead, and I hoped it was Dad leading them away and not Dad joining them. But I couldn't be sure things were okay until I got back out on top. And there he was, leading them around, running them into things where they'd get stuck, making it safer for another time, or for different good people if we didn't make it back. You know, seeing him like that, I know that's what I want to be like. That's what I want to do. Make it better for later. My later, or somebody else's. So he saw me, and I grabbed my rope and scrabbled to the other side of the hole, got down on my bike, started shouting. Dad brought him close enough that they got interested in me, and then I rode away, while Dad snuck onto his bike and followed. We found a couple other places, but that was the big one. When we got to the farm, it was already dark. The rain had calmed down, so we didn't talk, not until we'd been there a good while and we were settled in with our haul around us, listening to the bugs. I couldn't sleep, so I asked Dad to sleep first. We take turns, I bet you do too. And then I wrote today down. Tomorrow I'm going to ask him what Christmas is. I saw it by the big beautiful tree. Wrote it down. Maybe you know this, but I didn't. Christus, Dad says to say it Christmas, was a time his dad used to talk about, a time a long time ago when there were no others, and all the people were good people, and nobody was stealing, and scrounge used to grow like beans and apples. He said that in that time every trade was a good one, and people even shared, and sometimes trades were free, like a lot of the time. He says there used to be something called the spirit of Christmas that made it like that. And he thought that spirit was gone till we'd found all that stuff. And now he's wondering. I don't know, it sounds too good, but where did all that stuff come from then? Maybe it really happened. Anyway, Dad says those things we found yesterday must be from the time of Christmas, and that's why the word was up there by the tree. Amazing. You know the weird thing? Dad says he named me after Christmas, because I was that good at trade. He just called me Chris for so long he forgot. I never even knew that. Hey, it's been a few days. Good days. The rain's been coming down, and we've been talking and laughing, and we've been back to the smashed-in Christmas store 2 more times, and we still haven't got everything. We're going back again today. Just wanted to tell you, in case. You never think one more time is going to be too much. But you don't know the other end of the trade. That's what Dad said just before we went back in. Most of the others we found had gone away somewhere after Dad let them out, and it was easy to not get snatched by the one that had fallen back in, and the one still stuck under the shelf. So, by now we'd gotten a good amount of the things from the shelves and all the Christmas things, all of them, except for some of the hats and shoes. Those red and white shoes are useless. Give them 2 months, and I bet they break if they don't fall off. Maybe in the time of Christmas they didn't need to run or even walk that much. I don't know. Anyway, we started looking deeper back, past the shelves, to other shelves where there were still some things here and there. It was underneath the wrecked part, between the Christmas store and all the stores that fell on top of it. And it was dark, and there wasn't much room. But we figured I could squeeze through the bottom shelf and get in there. So I did. I didn't see the ceiling sagging. Like I said, it was dark. Once I got under, there were some blueberries in cans that looked really good. I decided to take one and pass it back to Dad, even though anything with berries in it usually goes bad. I took a second can, but that picture looked really good. Next to those was some peaches. Those are definitely good sometimes, so even though they were covered in dust, I brushed them off, handed back, I think 6 that looked in good shape. I had to really reach for that last one. And just past that last one, there was something super dark I couldn't quite see. I took out my flashlight and looked at Dad, and he nodded, so I clicked it on, and it was pickles. Pickles are always good. I was excited about it for about 2 seconds, and then bam! Gnarling mouths and bony hands and all kinds of stench shoved right in my face. Others, 3 or 4 at first, and I don't know where they came from, but they wanted me like I wanted the pickles, except now I just wanted out. So, like, I fell backwards, and I hit my head on a shelf, and I was kicking, and those hands weren't going away, so I tried to roll back under the shelf. I came through, but I only knocked all the sports stuff on top of me, and the hands were getting at my clothes, and that meant the mouths were coming, and then that was going to be it. I was going to be food, because they kept coming in, more and more, 10 or 20 others squeezing through the shelf behind the first ones, and breaking all the pickle jars and falling on each other, and they didn't care if their busted bodies broke in half doing it. And I was screaming to Dad and kicking and smashing anything I could reach at them. There were mouths right there at my feet, at my legs. And somehow one was grabbing at my head, and then the shelf broke. Like the shelf right in front of me, snapped from all the bodies, pushing on me. I guess. I guess it was keeping the ceiling from crashing in, because down came the ceiling, and other shelves started breaking one by one, and a lot of water and a lot of junk fell through all together and smashed on top of every single one of them. And at that very same second, Dad grabbed my arm and yanked me out the way I came in. I knew it was Dad, but I did not want to hold him. But he would not let me go. The one other that was wandering around in that first part of the hole came and found us, and Dad just swung his bat and brought him down. And he was still holding on to me with his other arm. I just screamed, I think. Just kept screaming until Dad caught my eye and gave me the quiet sign. And then I cried, as quiet as I could, but I don't think it was. We got out of the hole after the falling stopped, and I kept crying. And then we couldn't get down and over to the bikes. All the noise had brought a whole bunch of others, and they were in the way, and coming right at us too. So we climbed over on top of the broken down stores. Some of their arms started reaching out, but we got past them okay. And into a street and around a corner where it was quiet. Then finally, Dad gave me that look. Checked me over, chest, neck, arms, legs.
No bites.
He kept saying.
Okay. No bites.
And then I just held on to him and cried some more. And he was saying,
You're safe.
"You're safe.
You're safe. You're safe, my boy.
You're safe." And he held on to me too. I hope you have a dad like mine. So I asked him, "Why didn't you pull me out sooner?" "I tried," he told me. "You smashed a jar on my face." And then he laughed about it, and I looked at his messed up face, and I laughed. You know, we were okay. I lost my bag and my bat and the Christmas shoes I grabbed for carrying stuff, but we had to walk now. But we were okay. Now I'm back in my bed. I don't feel okay, but I am. Dad's right here. I'm okay. I still can't sleep. There's one thing I didn't tell you, and I can't get it out of my head. See, when we got away from those stores, and all the others hanging around, we didn't have our bikes, right? So we couldn't take the same way home, because we couldn't just ride past them when they got excited. We had to be careful and slow. And we're walking as quiet as we can and trying not to lose our way, except we turn into an alley, and there are a couple of them right there eating some poor thing, and they see us, so we run. But still as quiet as we can, which isn't quiet enough, so I'm not too surprised when we stop to listen after a couple of minutes and we still hear some others. But it's not just those two. And it's not the right direction. I look around the corner and there's a whole pack of them. I mean, it has to be 100 if it's one. And we freeze for a second because we got to figure out which way to go, and we're going to have to go fast. But something's up. They are hungry for something, and they're all pointed the same way, and it isn't at us. They're up against a big building, and it's got a lot of windows, but none of them are lower down, and it doesn't seem like they can get in, but reaching down that side, there's some metal stairs. They go down almost to the ground. Not quite, but some of the others are trying to stretch for it. And at the top of the stairs, there's a door. There's something about that door. And so when we get away, they don't see us, or don't follow. We get all the way out of that town and sneak home, bit by bit. It takes us more than a day. We still have Dad's haul, so we ate just fine, and then we sleep in some place called Bob's Gas and whatnot. And now we're home. And I don't want to go back. But I can't stop thinking about going back. I can't stop thinking about that door. Everything's a trade. I woke up this morning and realized Dad never woke me for my turn. Let me sleep all night and into the day. It felt amazing. And I stretched and hugged him. And we ate an apple. And it wasn't raining but sun shining, and we sat quiet and let it hit us. And then, well, I just looked at all our Christmas things that we'd been bringing back, that hid up on top of drawers and shelves and in the drawers too. And something got into me. I started crying. But not like when we were down in the store in the dark and everything was horrible and it was all coming at me. I was crying in the light. Because it had got into me. Inside. I can't explain, but it got inside, and then I was me and something else. And the something else was saying I had to tell Dad about the door, because he might not know. So I told him. And you know what? He didn't know. While I was looking at the stairs and the door, he was looking to get me out of there. So I had to tell him everything I saw, and what I thought, and what I wasn't saying to you or him or myself, that I thought there had to be people in that door, and there might just be good instead of bad, and that we had to go. We had to go back. You know what he did? He sat there for a minute looking at the sunshine, and he said, some trades are better than others. And then he got our new bikes ready, we still have extras, and I got everything else, grabbed some extra food too, and we split it all up like we do, and now we're going. I hope we come back. And if not, I hope you do. When we got there, the horde was gone. We went in the rain, and on the way I skidded down the side of a road and got dunked in muddy water. My bike tumbled on top of me and bashed me in the neck, and I yelled, and I choked on spoiled water because something pulled me in while I was still yelling. And that's when two others come out of the ooze, one right next to me. We had to bat them, and they were super stubborn. It was awful. And the whole time I was thinking, what if I was right about people being in that building? And we didn't come back in time, and this is the one thing that makes us really too late. So when it was over, Dad asked, "You okay, Chris?" But I was already getting my pack back on and getting on my bike, and I zoomed off. Probably should have been more careful, but we got there. We were fine. And like I said, when we got there were no others against that wall. The stairs was gone besides. It was on the ground, kind of twisted, but we couldn't tell what happened. I started walking around the building looking for an opening, found the name on one side, Summer Hill Suites, and that was when Dad gave me the talking to, super quiet, about going off on my own. I know I deserved it, but I was mad anyway, and I said, "You do it too, Dad. You think I want to see you hurt? You think I want to be alone?" Well, he took me seriously. He thought for a second, looked at me in the eye, and he said, "Let's not make that trade then. We stay together, all right?" So Dad handed me his rope, and I threw it, stuck the hook after 2 tries, and up we went. Dad first, though it killed me because I thought for sure something would be up there ready to grapple with us, but nothing was. Just a quiet, cold room with a lot of broken dishes and old machines. We went along through a couple other rooms, real careful, and found a door. And nothing followed us. There was nothing in the hallway, but a whole hallway of doors. So then we went from door to door, silent as we could, not saying a thing, until we'd seen maybe 20 open doors, and empty places just like the first. A bunch of nothing. Broken stuff, dust and cobwebs, dead bugs, but no others. Not walking, not laying down, not waiting to get us. Not there at all. So finally Dad made a sign, and we started talking quietly, heading to the part of the building where we thought that door and ladder connected to. That's when we heard something and froze. But after a minute, there was still no others coming around the corner, although I was sure I heard something, somewhere. Just when Dad was giving up, and I was feeling heavy and sick, she was there. A girl, an older girl, much older than me, but not as old as Dad, just standing at the end of the hallway looking at us. I could still see her. She's skinny, even skinnier than me, but taller, and her clothes are too short, but super nice, nicer than anything I've seen on a person. At first I think she's an other, but she doesn't move. None of us say anything. I guess it's been a long time, a few winters at least for us. And then all of a sudden, I start running towards her, saying something. I'm like, "Hey, hi!" And then she pulls out a piece of metal and acts like she's gonna bat me, so I slow down and shake my head. "We brought you some things," I say. I start taking some food out of my pack. "Not a lot," I tell her, "but hey, you doing okay?" Then finally, she backs into a doorway. She's still looking at us with big eyes. She doesn't say to follow her, and she doesn't say not to, so we do. And I cannot believe my eyes. It is beautiful. It's a big, open place, and it's got every bit of good furniture and all the nicest things you've ever seen. Even some books. And something is weird that I can't figure out until later. It's that there's no dust on anything. Dad and I are looking at chairs, but we don't want to ask to sit down.
"You can sit."
The girl tells us. She's looking back and forth at us. And Dad nods and says,
Thank you. Pleased to meet you. I'm Dev.
which I have never heard him say,
"Country."
says the girl, and then Dad pulls out a couple of the things we brought, but then he thinks twice.
Are you alone, Kentry?
He asks,
You got a mom or dad? Brother?
but Kentry doesn't answer. She looks around the place she's sitting in almost like she doesn't know it. A second later, she's not looking at anything, says Dad.
We got a few things to trade if you're interested.
And then he puts some of the food in front of her. Kentry starts to cry. And I think I get it. She's not crying in the dark, she's crying in the light. Like she's found Chris's. At least that's what I figure, but then she says,
We ain't got anything. Ran out a couple of days ago.
So there's a we.
Dad says what I was thinking, and that makes her shake her head like crazy, and she doesn't answer it. Just says,
Got nothing to trade. Nothing left.
and she's staring so hard at a can of peaches, she reminds me of a cat I saw once. Same eyes, too. Dad clears his throat, which is like him saying he doesn't want to talk, but he does, and then he does it.
Look, maybe this time we don't trade for food. We can leave you this, and maybe you've got some extra clothes or shoes for us.
And he says it real slow, like he does when he has to tell me something I don't want to hear or that he thinks I won't get.
Maybe something your dad doesn't want.
And then she tells us the truth.
Daddy isn't here. He went looking.
But I don't think she meant to say it, because she looks at our faces like we're others all of a sudden and shuts up. Dad is super gentle. He pulls out the rest of the food, puts it in front of her.
Okay. When was that? A couple of days ago? A while ago?
Kintra's leg starts tapping and jumping, and she's staring at the food. And all of a sudden, she gets up and walks deeper into the no-dust house.
Come on. I'll show you the clothes. Got all kinds.
All of a sudden, she's happy. We don't know what else to do, so we follow her. And I don't know why, but I'm scared. And then she walks us up a big, beautiful, twisty stairs and shows us a few rooms. All of them no-dust rooms, and they've got closets full of clothes. Different sizes, different kinds. She brings out some choices. She thinks it'd be nice and holds them up to us, all smiling.
That'll suit you real nice.
She says to Dad and then goes a different direction for another thing for me, but Dad stops her, quiet as can be.
And you're sure your family won't need these, Kintry?
She stops moving, but she doesn't turn around. She doesn't say anything, just balls her fists up.
Did something happen to them?
He asks. Finally, she turns around,
I'd really like some peaches.
she says, and Dad starts walking,
Let's go get them.
and we do, and it turns out they're good, and she eats them all at once, which is not how you do it. And before she's done, she's crying again,
Kintry, maybe we can help you.
Dad says.
Would you tell us where they are? Your family.
She doesn't tell us. She takes us there. And then I get why she wasn't saying anything. She grabs a metal stick and takes us out and down the long hallway kind of sleepily, like she just got out of bed. And then she waits a minute next to a corner where it turns in toward the inside of the building. And I'm listening. And I think I hear something, but it isn't snarling. I know this sound, but I can't think what it is. It seems really important. Dad points ahead and he looks at Kintry. She nods and he takes the lead, holds his bat ready. I do it too. Finally, Kintry starts moving again, slower than before. I can see her shoulders next to me shaking. You're not alone, I tell her. But I have to keep moving, and soon she's behind me. So, after a minute, I know I hear something. And then, I start to figure it out. I do hear the others. They're here after all, and they're all snarling. But I also hear screaming and crying and straining that can only be living, breathing people. And even though I can't tell what they're saying, I hear one other thing, above it all, and I realize I've been hearing it for a little while and I'll never get it out of my head. It's a baby. A loud and beautiful, real little baby screaming up a storm. I feel the light getting into me. Dad and I start running. I don't check to see if Kintry comes, I just go. Pretty soon we come out into this open space. I find out later it's called a courtyard. Right in the middle of all the doors and rooms. And there are 4 floors. The one we're on and 3 below it, and everyone's got a whole bunch of others crowding in over a kind of fence that stops them going into the courtyard. Except it doesn't. Not everywhere. It's broken here and there, and sometimes they get through and come down. Down into the middle on the ground where there's a whole family stuck. A whole miserable real family with a crying baby. And it looks just like my baby sister did. Like it's just been born. But we see all that in a couple of seconds. I don't have time to think, because as fast as we show up, the others close by get really excited. And then we turn around, and that's when I see Kintry's not there. So we run back to the outer hallway, and all of a sudden I don't hear Dad beside me. He's stopped at the corner, and he's just batting away at them as they come. There must be 20, and I know we can't stay here. So I'm saying, Dad, let's take him down a stairway. And I'm thumping away at the one that's trying to get him, and I'm trying not to panic, but no, he shouts back. And I can't believe that. But then he says,
I'll steer him down. When it's clear up here, you take the hook. Get down to him. Bring them up.
I don't have time to argue. We snatch his pack off together as we're running, and then he tells me to run ahead and hide in a room till they get past. I do that, and I hate it, but I'm scared as I've ever been, even more than in the Christmas store, because I think I might lose Dad. But I run fast and quiet, and I duck into a place and into a room, and I find a good spot where I can swing or go out the window if I have to. I wait until I hear the whole swarm of them go by, and I don't think I breathe until they do. And then I wait one more minute, because it's always the slow ones. Then I go really slowly, holding my bat, and I make it out to the courtyard, and I only see 3 others who must have had trouble getting to Dad, because they're way on the other side trying to reach for me. And I know they're dumb, but I'm nervous anyway. And I look for a strong pole, not part of the fence, more like part of the building. And I stole my bat and set the hook, and I know I can't think about it or I'll stop moving, so I jump. And I mean to jump around the fence and catch myself, but I don't. I lose all my insides because I'm still going down, and I didn't look where I should land. So I grab onto the first thing I can, and it's a growling, toothy-faced dead man. I've snatched his arm, and he's grabbing right back and almost bites my nose off. But instead, my falling wins, and we both go down. But he falls, and I slip. I slip down another floor, and I kind of slap the next fence, and it slows me down a little bit, but I'm still falling till I'm not. I hit the bottom, and it's softer and crunchier than I think it should be. I've landed on the toothy man, and I roll away, but he's not done. He still crawls after me, and so I get up, happy that I can, and I pull out my bat. But I'm looking another one in the face. But it's not. I think it's another one, but it can't be, because she's holding a stick of wood, and she swings, and I think she's trying to bat me too, but no. She saved my life. Takes out the toothy man behind me. Thank you, I'm pleased to meet you, I say, and I'm trying to imitate Dad, but I'm panicked and out of breath. I'm Chris, I tell her. She smiles, her head shaking, she actually laughs, but I'm still a little scared, because she has got to be super old, and I've never seen a person that old.
I'm Jean.
She says.
Is it snowing?
And I don't know what she means at first, because I've never seen snow. But she's feeling the white fluff on my hat, and it comes off. I look round above us, and the others are all leaning over the fence, but it looks safe for a second.
They call me Grandma.
That's what the not dead older person says while she's looking at my hat, but she's not smiling now. The whole family come up to me, too. They're all skinny and all wearing beautiful clothes, just like Kintry. But they get really nervous, and I don't know why. Until one of them, a boy, a couple of winters older than me, walks behind me and starts touching my neck and my head, and I get really scared for a minute because all of a sudden I realize it hurts. That's when Grandma shows me the blood on my hat that everybody's been looking at. Finally, the boy comes back where I can see him and shakes his head. I don't think it's a bite, he says. And then I remember it's just my bike. It fell on top of me. But we don't have time for more because another dead one comes down too close to the mom and the baby, and the boy and Grandma and me all rush over and take care of it, and then I tell them, let's get back up there, all of us. But we can't take them up there, Kintry's brother says. How's Mama going to climb that with the baby? The mom looks strong, but she's super tired. She's half asleep, even with all this going on. There's all kinds of stuff on the floor. I'm really thinking it just happened. And I don't get why they did it here, but now I'm worried. Really worried. Because I can't leave him like this. But I've got to find Dad and help him too, and they don't want to go. Grandma's looking up at my rope and ignoring the others, snapping at her from above. But thankfully,
Oh, we came down here for a reason.
she says.
We thought they wouldn't find us and couldn't get in.
She looks around at her family.
Well, they can. They're going to.
Now she's looking at my back again, and I don't know why, until she asks me.
How strong is that thing?
She means my pack. So I look at the baby. That's when I know what she means. The light's gotten all the way through me now, and I'm thinking how I want that baby to see the Christmas tree. I want them all to try candy. And maybe they don't know apples and potatoes. Maybe they never felt safe. And they need to.
Carter, get up there.
It's the grandma again.
You can keep watch as we're coming up.
So the brother takes one look at me. And here, I say, put something in your pocket. And I hand him something from my pack, and up he goes. And it's tricky, because he's never done it, but he's strong and smart enough to keep away from all those hungry mouths. Next goes the younger brother, and we do the same thing. He's actually really fast. He'll live a long time, I figure. But then the mom struggles up to her feet, nearly falls over, pushes on a fence so she can get steady. I can see she's set on getting out of here, but I'm worried all the same. And there's not much else in my bag, because I took some out to show Kintry, and I take the rest out. Grandma takes the baby while I hold the bag steady.
Careful.
The mom's saying, and reaches out for it, but between us, it's working, and it won't be half bad in there, cinched up over its head. The others won't even know what's in it. I hand the bag to the mom, and Grandma helps her to put it on. As soon as she starts up that rope, though, the others are snatching away at her. She's not balancing, and the rope starts spinning, and the others are getting awful close to snatching and biting that baby just by accident. So I can't help it. I shout to her, let me have it, let me take it up. And she looks down at me like I'm trying to eat her too, but I still say, I can do it. I swear I'll keep it safe. And just then, one of the dead gets its fingers in her hair and starts pulling, so I run and jump, and I can't believe it. I nail that nasty thing in the face, and it goes sprawling. The mom loses her grip, but she finds it again. Soon we're back down on the ground, and she's crying and shaking, and she's letting me take that screaming little bag and put it on. And I tell her, go on, I've got it. She's got to breathe, I guess, but it's working. She gets some light in her eyes and finds that baby's head and touches it, and she's telling me,
It's her.
so I've got her, I say. So then she starts up the rope again, a little better. Keep your feet out, kick 'em if you have to, I tell her, and she does, and it's terrible to see her try, but Carter at the top pulls, and Grandma and me bang around down below, and that gets most of them away. It's working. She's gonna make it. And then I see where they're going, because with me and Grandma batting at the bottom fence, the others just above are getting ideas. See, we're leading them to the side on purpose, and we're leading them straight to where there's a doorway, where there's a sign. And it looks like there's stairs going down, and I did not see it before, but now I know they're going down into that stairs. They're coming down to us. There's a door shut over there, and I ask, is it locked? And Grandma says yes, and then get on up there, little. And the only kid that's left, a little girl who's been shaken behind Grandma and me, she takes the rope in both hands, and then she lets it go. Then she's just looking at us with the worst big eyes. You have got to go up, I tell her. Look, I point, it's your brother and your mom. And she looks, and they're looking back, and they're talking to her, but 2 or 3 others jerk their arms and heads over the fence in between to try and get at us, and Lita can only see them now, and there's nothing else in the world to her. And I'm all, hey, I shout, but I try my best to smile. Hey, up top, right up there, there's food. It's good food that we brought to y'all, and if we could just get there, I promise you, you will eat today and tomorrow, and the day after that I will bring you candy, which is the best thing you will ever have tasted in your life, and I will show you some beautiful things that you have never seen. And I will not make you trade a thing for it. All you have to do is get there, right up that rope, where your mama and your big strong brother are waiting. She's thinking about it, and it seems to work. The others are vicious, thumping the fence, cracking it, breaking it, but she is thinking, and she puts her hands on the rope. And then just keep your eyes on them, I tell her, and then she gets a good grip, and I push around her hands to make sure, and Carter, fast as anything, pulls her right up to the top. She's okay. And then, right then, the others are at the door. Grandma looks at me, and I know what she's thinking. I'm thinking it too. Go, we both say. And then I tell her, listen, this is your family, and you have got to keep things going. And that's almost enough for her with them beating on the door, but she can't stop looking at the bag on my back. So I tell her, and I mean it, I won't let it happen. And then I know what happened to my sister. I know. And I know it will not happen today. But you don't always choose both ends of a trade. That fence right above us gives out, and 3 sturdy others come crashing down. They get up, climb onto us, we swing and we kick, but they're not giving up. They push onto us, move us back, away from the rope, but I slip to the side to keep the baby out of the way, tripping one with me. But then Grandma's pinned by the other 2. Then I take one out, but they're way too vicious, but we work together, they don't have that. Grandma pushes the other one to arm's length, and I swing, but then the first one's up again and coming for my neck, and I can feel it like a hot, sticky breeze, and she hits it with a big metal chair, and it looks at her, and then she hits it 2, 3 more times. Finally, it's down. They're all down. And then, that's when the rest of them start breaking through the door. So I'm yelling at her, go, go now. I'll come right after, but you have got to go. And she hates it, but she does it, and it's sloppy, and she's shaking, but she catches hold of that rope tight, fights her way up it, and I am so smiling, because we are going to make it. They are breaking down that door, but they're not through, and I'm about to get on the rope, but I don't. Because they break down the door, and they are through. I'm back into the rope with my eyes and bat forward, but they don't come one at a time. They come all at once, and I turn, so the baby's the one thing they can't touch. And I start swinging. I go, and I'm hitting everything. Some head, some hands, some bony shoulders, but the ones behind coming closer, and I can't swing right. So I kick and push and kick and swing, and I hear the shout, but I don't know what they're trying to say to me. Now they're almost all around me, so I find myself a corner, and I get down, and I make sure she doesn't get squeezed, the little one. She's in that space, the corner hole behind me, and I'm smacking them with every bit of muscle I've got. I'm sore, and I'm beyond sore, and I can't even do it. And I don't see any end to these others. They're coming, and my arms and fingers hurt, and I think I know it's not just muscle. It's impossible to do it right with that baby behind me, so I just hold the bat in one end of my chest, keep the closest one away, and the other one's behind it. And I'm tired. I can't. And I'm thinking of that baby, but there's screaming, there's yelling, and there's growling and snarling, and there's a buzzing in my ear, and I'm hoping for that baby, but that's it. That's all I can do. I'm out. So, I wake up here in their place, on this nice, clean couch. I'm eating a pickle, and I'm taking little breaks, and I'm getting super tired now. But I want you to know, Kintry went and found him. She found my dad. Guess they never found hers after he went for food, and she was hiding up in their house in case he came back. But it's been too long. That's what Grandma says. He's not coming. So, Kintry, she went and found my dad. Told him I was down there, that it was working, but that I was gonna need help. And then the two of them came down there together and laid into him. Took on the last of them. I guess when they got there, well, they say I got more of them than anybody could count. Covered the ground. And then they got the rest. And then Dad picked me up, and Kintry took the baby and took both of us upstairs, and everybody was worried about the little one, 'cause, well, she didn't make a noise. But you know what? I think she'd gone to sleep. And she's safe. She's safe now. She can do it. I'm about to, too. Just a few more things, then I gotta stop. I'm checking on her, the baby. She's still breathing. She looks great. They want to name her Krista. When they told me, I couldn't say a thing. The Dad said it was fine. We talked about it a minute ago, and, I guess these people, they're you. You're the ones I've been talking to, even though I didn't know when I started. We're gonna show you the farm, just Mom and Carter for now, then the rest of you when the baby's bigger. But you've gotta know about potatoes and apples and kale. Scrounge is the best, but it doesn't come back. Look, I know you all lost your dad. I know that's gotta hurt. But now, well, you've got mine. You can shut your eyes and he's there. And you can open them and he's there. So don't worry. You're gonna be okay. Make sure you ask him to take you where we saw it all. Down underneath the stores, the tree that grows right through it, and the candy and the boxes and the red and white shoes. I bet you can get those others out of there, and it's worth it too, 'cause there is something in there. Even down in there in the dark. And when you get there, you'll know light gets inside you, and you start saying and doing what you know is right. Maybe that's why I've got to say this. This one last thing. No more trades. You share with people like it's your dad, or like it's me and I'm your son, and you teach each other how to fight, and how not to, what to eat and what to grow, and you keep things going. But no more trades. That's how. No more trades. And then, the spirit of Christus, it isn't dead. It's with you. Alright. I think I'm as done as I can be. Goodbye.
Chris, this is your dad. It's been 4 winters, my boy. And I've listened to your voice every chance that I can. Your words are in my head. They're in my heart. I can't have you, but I have it. And now today, I want to add something. 'Cause maybe there are more people on the way somewhere or sometime. And maybe they find us. Or maybe they just find your recording. And, well, if they do, then they ought to know. They ought to know this. I waited beside you. I waited and cried beside you. I hated it and I loved you like I couldn't go on. But then, I don't know. I could. 'Cause my Chris, I waited for days. I waited. And one night, I was gonna do it. But it was so long that I didn't, you know? And you know what? It didn't come. You were gone. But never one of them. You never turned into one, my Chris. You never did.
If you're still here, thank you so much for listening. How much do you hate me right now? You don't need to answer. You can answer that. You can put that in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, please let me know why. And I just do want to give a shout out to Sam, who did a bunch of the reading, and to John, who did the illustrations. And he is phenomenal. I love that guy. He's great. Also, videos. If you like this story, you're probably going to like one of these.